Welcome back, everyone. This is Trending Update USA, and I'm Stefan. Thanks for joining us as we roll into one of the most anticipated match days of the Australian Open, Day 8 on the women's side, a day packed with elite contenders, breakout stories, and high-stakes showdowns that could reshape the entire tournament landscape. Melbourne Park is buzzing, the crowds are louder, the margins are tighter, and every player stepping onto the court today knows that one great performance can define an entire season, while one bad hour can end a Grand Slam dream. Day 8 always feels different at the Australian Open. By now, the early round nerves are gone, the draws have opened up, and the true contenders begin separating themselves from the hopefuls. The women's draw in particular has delivered drama, upsets, and star power, and today's schedule reflects that perfectly. Headlining the action is world number 1 Aryna Sabalenka taking on rising teenager Victoria Mboko, a matchup that perfectly captures the contrast between established dominance and fearless youth. Alongside that clash, several other key matches will shape who survives into the business end of the tournament, with experience, form, and mental toughness all set to be tested under the Melbourne sun. Let's begin with the blockbuster encounter everyone is talking about, Aryna Sabalenka vs. Victoria Mboko. On paper, this looks like a classic top seed versus newcomer matchup, but anyone who has watched this tournament closely knows there is far more complexity here. Sabalenka arrives on day 8 carrying the weight of expectation, confidence, and championship pedigree. She has already proven she can dominate on hard courts in Australia, and her presence alone changes the energy of the stadium. From the first ball she strikes, there is power, aggression, and intent. Sabalenka's serve remains one of the most feared weapons in the women's game, capable of producing free points even under pressure. Her ground strokes, especially off the forehand wing, have been ruthless throughout the tournament, pushing opponents far behind the baseline and forcing errors through sheer pace. But what has impressed most about Sabalenka so far in Melbourne is not just her power, but her composure. In previous seasons, moments of frustration could derail her rhythm, especially when unforced errors began to creep in. This year, she looks calmer, more controlled, and more willing to construct points patiently rather than forcing winners too early. That evolution is exactly why she enters Day 8 as a strong favorite not just for this match, but for the entire tournament. She has navigated earlier rounds with authority, conserving energy while still sending a clear message to the rest of the draw. Across the net, however, stands Victoria Mboko, a name that may be unfamiliar to casual fans but is quickly becoming one of the most talked about stories of the tournament. Mboko's run to this stage has been nothing short of impressive. Still in her teens, she has shown maturity beyond her years, combining explosive athleticism with a fearless mindset that refuses to be intimidated by rankings or reputations. Her movement around the court has been exceptional, allowing her to retrieve balls that most players would give up on, and her ability to redirect pace has caught several opponents off guard. Mboko's biggest weapon is her belief. She steps onto the court with nothing to lose and everything to gain, and that mentality can be incredibly dangerous against a top seed. She has already proven that she can handle the big stage, playing with freedom and confidence in front of packed crowds. Against Sabalenka, Mboko will likely aim to extend rallies, test the world number 1's patience, and capitalize on any dip in intensity. She will need to serve well, defend relentlessly, and take her chances when they come, because opportunities against Sabalenka are rare and fleeting. The prediction for this match ultimately leans towards Sabalenka, but not without resistance. Expect Mboko to have moments where she challenges the favorite, possibly even pushing a set to a tight tiebreak or forcing Sabalenka to dig deep early. However, over the course of the match, Sabalenka's experience, power, and ability to raise her level in key moments should prevail. A straight sets win for Sabalenka remains the most likely outcome, but one that will require focus and discipline rather than complacency. Beyond the headline match, Day 8 features several other intriguing women's contests that deserve close attention. One of the key themes today is the battle between consistency and creativity. Players who have built their careers on solid baseline play and tactical discipline face opponents willing to take risks and disrupt rhythm. These are the types of matchups that often produce surprises at this stage of a Grand Slam. Another match to watch closely involves a seasoned top 10 player facing an opponent who has quietly compiled an impressive win streak. The experienced contender brings a wealth of Grand Slam knowledge, understanding how to manage momentum swings and hostile crowds. Her opponent, however, arrives brimming with confidence after dispatching higher-ranked players earlier in the tournament. This clash could come down to mental resilience, particularly in long rallies and extended deuce games. If the underdog can stay aggressive without overhitting, an upset is very much on the table. Day 8 is also crucial for players who see this tournament as their best chance to break through at a major. The Australian Open often rewards bold shot-making and physical endurance, and several competitors left in the draw fit that profile perfectly. Matches today may stretch deep into third sets, with fitness and recovery playing a decisive role. Players who have cruised through earlier rounds might find themselves tested for the first time, while those who have already survived tough battles may draw confidence from knowing they can endure pressure. From a tactical perspective, hard courts in Melbourne continue to play true, offering consistent bounce but punishing lapses in footwork. Players who serve well and take the ball early have enjoyed success, while those who retreat too far behind the baseline have struggled to regain control of points. Expect to see aggressive returning, frequent net approaches, and a premium placed on first serve percentage throughout today's matches. Crowd influence cannot be overlooked on Day 8 either. As the tournament progresses, fans become more invested, more vocal, and more emotionally attached to storylines. Young players like Mboko often feed off that energy, while established stars must learn to manage it. The atmosphere inside Rod Laver Arena and the surrounding courts will be electric, and how players respond to that environment could swing momentum dramatically. Looking at the broader picture, today's results will significantly shape the remainder of the women's draw. A dominant performance from Sabalenka would reinforce her status as the player to beat and send a clear warning to her future opponents. A surprise result elsewhere could open up opportunities for players who might not have expected to reach the latter stages. Grand Slams are often defined by moments like these, when the balance of power subtly shifts and belief begins to grow among those still standing. In terms of overall predictions for Day 8, expect most top seeds to hold firm, but do not be surprised if at least one match delivers a shock. The physical and emotional demands of the tournament are accumulating, and even the best players are vulnerable to an off day. Mental clarity, shot selection, and recovery between points will be just as important as raw talent. As the sun sets over Melbourne and the lights come on, Day 8 promises to deliver drama, intensity, and unforgettable tennis. From Aryna Sabalenka's quest to maintain her dominance to Victoria Mboko's fearless challenge, today's matches capture everything that makes the Australian Open special. This is the stage where champions assert themselves and newcomers announce their arrival to the world. Stay locked in with Trending Update USA as we continue to bring you the latest stories, insights, and reactions from the Australian Open. I'm Stefan, and this has been your complete Women's Day 8 prediction breakdown. The battles are about to begin, and the road to the title is getting narrower by the minute.